Hi guys, my name is Eddie. Welcome back to my channel. Oh, no. It's because I feel the pressure to do it quickly.
Oh my god, we don't need to do it quickly.
Okay.
Stop.
Okay. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Eddie.
And my name is Cam.
And we just wanted to hop on here today and talk to you about 5 things we learned about living in a van.
Yeah, so we broke it down into 5 really important things that we thought we'd like to share with other people that may be interested in living in a van or doing the van life. And these 5 things really are informing our bus life venture as well. So we're going to try and incorporate all these 5 things into the next journey, I suppose. So
I highly recommend if anyone's ever thinking about buying a bus, do a van first or travel in a van for a little while, because you learn about what you need and what you don't need to keep you happy.
Yeah, it definitely like emphasizes things that maybe could go wrong or that you might find challenging, especially when you're in like a bit of a smaller space.
And she was small. This is our van, Carmen.
Yeah, just behind us. Yeah.
And she's about as small as a van I think can get. So it was really important for us to be hyper aware of what we needed to keep us comfortable when traveling in her for an extended period of time.
Yeah, so we call these our small luxuries. Our small luxuries were things like...
We had the power points. So when Cam was building the van, he made sure that he put in power plugs for our laptop so that we didn't consistently have to go into a McDonald's or a library to charge our laptop to be able to work or to be able to watch something, because we were traveling in New Zealand only a couple months ago which didn't have it, and it was so frustrating to have to stop somewhere and plug our laptop in.
Yep. Especially if you're planning on like working from the road, like if you're living that laptop lifestyle, you're going to need electricity, you're going to need something to charge from, and you're going to need the space to do it as well, right? So the idea of being able to sit in our van and work was something that we really wanted the luxury of being able to do. We didn't want just to have like a bed that was like way up near the top of the ceiling, that with all the storage underneath. So like our small luxuries, I suppose, transitions into like our tip number 2, or the second thing we learned, which was like having storage, right? Having storage for all of our stuff. So Edwina's a music teacher and I'm a yoga teacher. So we, what did we do for storage?
So we had all this equipment that we needed to bring, and we didn't want to lift the bed up, like Cam said, and lose the view, because we love the idea of being able to open up the boot in the morning and have like direct open view of wherever we were. Yeah,
as you can see, you can see through the whole van.
Yeah. So we invested in a roof rack, a really good roof rack, and that had like a waterproof bag on top, and which we put all my music equipment in, and we locked it up, we strapped it down, we put a whole bunch of stuff on top. We also made sure Cam put in these drawers just here, which open up to be able to do your laptop on, or to actually cut vegetables and cook on. We kept all our dry foods in there, in all the storage there. We added hooks everywhere we could. We also used under the bed, we invested in some really smart small containers which had all our clothing in it. I'm trying to think what other storage.
We had stuff underneath the fridge, so we've got a fridge in the back there, and there was stuff underneath the shelving there. There was boxes in the front as well, which we managed to tuck away into little areas. So storage was really important for us, considering we had left our house and we didn't have any house to go back to, so we had to take everything that we had with us. So that was really, really good. But I guess like stepping on from storage was making sure we had space as well, right? And not only space to put all of our stuff, and space to, like I said, work in the van, but space from one another as well, right? We spent four and a bit months in this van together, right? So it was something that was important, was to start finding our own personal space and our own personal time.
Yeah, because when you're in such a small area with each other, you basically are living on top of one another. So if you don't create that distance by, like, we had the outdoor awning, which was a lifesaver because it extended our living space by like an extra 2.5 meters. So if I needed some time by myself, Cam would move outside and I would stay inside the van, or vice versa. And it enabled us to feel like we had a living room and a bedroom, and create that distance so that if we felt claustrophobic or we were getting frustrated with each other, we had that time to actually breathe. Because when you're in such a small space, everything gets, like, every issue that you possibly have has to get sorted immediately, because otherwise your living environment will become toxic and you won't enjoy it anymore.
Yeah, you don't really have an option. You've got to start communicating. You've got to start learning how to, and I've said this before in another video, but learning how to, process and handle and communicate what you're feeling and what you're going through. Otherwise you become these two weird, awkward individuals sitting in a van for long periods of time without really talking to one another, right?
And not enjoying where you are.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it really stifles it. And enjoying where you are, that's kind of a good segue into our thing we learnt, tip number 4, I suppose, which was like sightseeing, right?
Sightseeing. So when we were traveling, I think we started by driving every single day. Like every day we were like, where's next? What's next? What can we do?
Pretty gung-ho about it,
Yeah, and I think one of the takeaways that we took was to not rush. Allow yourself to have that time to be somewhere for a few days, for a week. Really allow yourself to rest and get comfortable, because driving every single day is exhausting. It's exhausting, and you don't really get to immerse yourself in the place that you're currently in because you're consistently thinking about where to next. So by the end of our trip, we had kind of worked out that we enjoyed traveling more when we aimed to go to an area, like for say, let's example, we went to the Blue Mountains and we spent like 5-6 days there, being able to explore all the little towns, being able to do all these different walks, not having to rush knowing that we had to get back in the van and drive again. And it just meant that it didn't feel like we were just travelers. It made us feel like we were living on the road, because in reality, when we live on the road, we won't be traveling every day.
So take your time and do some sightseeing. Just relax.
There's so many beautiful places to see.
That's it. Enjoy the country. Enjoy the road. Okay, so the last thing we learned, or tip number 5, was intimate time, or SEX, and the idea of, again, not having a bed so raised up that you could only lie down, possibly in the missionary position, was not something that we wanted to do. We wanted to make sure that we had a little bit of freedom, a little bit of room to maneuver, to actually enjoy one another's embrace, enjoy one another's company, not just kind of be squished in like toy soldiers in a coffin, So we really, that was another really big thing for me and for us, was to have a bed that was quite low so that we could
and
actually
comfortable.
Exactly, comfortable bed. I
should have said this earlier in the video. We invested in a really comfy bed, so we actually bought a futon off Gumtree, and it's about this thick, and it was a life changer, because what we noticed is that so many people, when they have their vans, invest in this really tiny shitty foam. Well, it's like the camper van mattresses that cost you like $300 because they're custom made for camper vans, when really they're not amazing to start with. They're overpriced, to be honest with you. So we invested in a futon that was way too big, way bigger than we needed it to be. So we ended up cutting it down to size, which is the easiest thing I've probably ever done, just cutting through big pieces of foam, and then re-sewing the fabric around it. And it's the most amazing, comfortable, bed that we have. Comfiest bed. It was really nice knowing that we never had to worry about having a sore back or sore hips or anything like that, compared to when we went traveling in New Zealand and we got a very shitty van. With the worst mattress. It was the worst. It was like this thick, and we suddenly became super thankful for the van that we had built. Let's just say being intimate on the mattress in the van in New Zealand was not an amazing experience. And even though we still maybe bump heads on the roof on here, it's a lot better on this mattress with this amount of space. So that would be the 5 main things that were takeaways for us and big lessons learnt. So what were they? The 5 S's. They were small luxuries, they were storage, they were space, they were sightseeing, and they were SEX. If you are wanting to build a van, things that we would recommend to you that we decided to put in, which made a huge difference, i.e. your solar, your second battery. We came even installed like a ventilation system, LED lights. These really little things that don't draw a lot of power but make a huge difference to how comfortable you are when you're living in a small van. Because it's very easy for it not to really bother you for the first week or two, but if you're doing an extended amount of time, you're gonna feel like you're sacrificing quite a lot when you don't have these little luxuries.
Yeah, you really start to notice it.
Yeah, you really notice when you don't have them. And when we were traveling for this amount of time, even though it wasn't a van that we were permanently going to live in, we knew that if we wanted to enjoy our travels the most, we had to be comfy. We had to wake up happy, and we had to go to sleep comfortable.
Yeah, which is why I wanted to build. So a lot of people like buying their vans or their buses already converted, and then kind of tinkering and seeing what they've got after that. But something that was really important for me as well, as an ego thing, I suppose, was being able to build something, being able to build the thing that we needed, made sure it was to our specifications, and had all the things that we knew that we wanted, right? All those five things that we learned along the way, we really thought about before we started making the van and started really working on it. So we'll give you a little bit of a tour, and you might have seen a little bit already, but we'll
show you around Carmen. Let's do it.